The city lights shimmered against the glass towers, but for Daniel, they had lost all their shine. He was a single father, barely 32, juggling two worlds, one at his low-paying job in a furniture store, the other at home, where his entire world slept soundly every night, his little daughter, Lily. She was only 4, a bright-eyed child with messy hair and a laugh that could melt even the coldest heart. Every morning, Daniel would wake up before dawn, tiptoe around their tiny rented apartment, prepare Lily's breakfast, and pack her lunchbox with whatever he could afford. Then he'd drop her at a neighbor's before rushing off to work. But today, things didn't go as planned. Lily had woken up coughing, clinging to him, whispering that she didn't want him to go. The neighbor wasn't home, and Daniel was already late. Torn between duty and love, he chose his daughter. He scooped her up, wrapped her in a blanket, and carried her to work. Inside the furniture store, fluorescent lights buzzed above rows of polished tables and shiny sofas. Daniel tried to balance his tasks, stacking boxes, talking to customers, while gently rocking Lily in his arms as she slept. He whispered apologies into her hair, praying his boss wouldn't notice. But fate wasn't kind. Mr. Hawthorne, the manager, was a sharp man with a colder heart. He spotted Daniel standing in the corner, holding Lily while a customer waited for help. His voice cut through the air like a blade. "Daniel, my office, now." Daniel's heart sank. He followed, clutching his daughter tighter, her tiny breaths warming his chest. Inside, the manager's words were merciless. "You can't bring a child here. This isn't a daycare. You're distracted, and it's costing us sales. You're fired." Effective immediately. The word hit Daniel like a hammer. Fired. He tried to explain how he had no one else, how Lily was sick, how he promised it wouldn't happen again. But Hawthorne's eyes showed no mercy. The door slammed behind him as he walked out, jobless, with his sleeping daughter in his arms. Daniel stood on the sidewalk, the cool evening breeze brushing against his face, his soul collapsing under the weight of despair. People walked past without a glance, another father, another story of struggle. He looked at Lily's innocent face and whispered, "I'll find a way, baby. I promise." What Daniel didn't know was that someone had been watching. From across the street, a black luxury car sat parked. Inside, a man in his 50s, impeccably dressed, had seen everything unfold through the glass window of the store. His name was Richard Hale, a self-made millionaire, owner of several businesses in the city. He knew the taste of struggle. He had grown up with nothing, often going to bed hungry as a child. Watching Daniel now, something stirred in him, a memory of his own father's weary hands, his mother's sacrifices. Richard stepped out of the car, his polished shoes clicking against the pavement. He approached Daniel, who lowered his eyes in embarrassment, clutching Lily as though the world was against them. "Excuse me," Richard said softly. Daniel turned, wary. "I'm sorry, sir. I can't buy anything. I need to get my daughter home." Richard shook his head. "I didn't come to sell you anything. I saw what happened in there. You held your daughter the way a man holds his entire world. That takes strength." Daniel's throat tightened. Strength doesn't pay the rent. It doesn't put food on the table. For a moment, silence hung between them, broken only by Lily's gentle breathing. Richard's eyes softened. "What do you do best, Daniel?" Daniel blinked, confused. "Best? I don't know. I just work hard. I'll do anything for her." Richard studied him, then reached into his pocket and pulled out a card. "Come see me tomorrow. I own a company across town. We need men like you, men who don't quit, men who fight for their families. Bring your daughter if you need to. We'll figure it out." Daniel stared at the card, half believing it was some cruel joke. But Richard's voice carried a weight of sincerity that made his heart stir with cautious hope. That night, in their dimly lit apartment, Daniel tucked Lily into bed and sat staring at the business card. Tears welled in his eyes. Could this be real? Could kindness still exist in a world that had shut so many doors on him? The next morning, he decided to take a chance. With Lily's tiny hand in his, he arrived at a towering office building. To his astonishment, Richard was waiting in the lobby. Not a secretary, not an assistant, Richard himself. He led Daniel inside, introduced him to the staff, and within hours, Daniel was offered a stable job, not just a paycheck, but an opportunity. One that came with health benefits for Lily, flexible hours, and most importantly, dignity. Weeks turned into months. Daniel poured his soul into his work, earning respect from his colleagues. Lily grew healthier, happier, her laughter filling their once silent apartment. And every now and then, Richard would visit, watching from a distance as Daniel thrived. One evening, as Daniel prepared to leave the office with Lily in his arms, he turned to Richard and whispered, "You didn't just give me a job. You gave my daughter a future." Richard smiled gently, "And you reminded me of where I came from. Never forget, Daniel, sometimes the smallest act of kindness can rewrite someone's entire story." And in that moment, Daniel realized something profound. He had lost a job, but he had gained a new beginning.